Hello and welcome to Yorkshire. This is the Rochdale Canal, which is well known for being one of the most challenging, yet also one of the most rewarding canals you can do. Challenging because there are something like, I think it's 91 double-width locks, and also the water levels are known to be a bit variable, but rewarding because the scenery along it is absolutely out of this world. Now, on a reasonably sunny day after doing all those locks and all that canalling, what could be finer than stopping at a canal-side hostelry for a nice pint of Coke or other refreshing beverage? Well, I'm not much of a pub goer myself, but I do know a man who is, and perhaps he can help out.
That man is, of course, Robbie Cumming, canal boater, YouTube video maker and star of the BBC TV show Canal Boat Diaries, of which the third series has just started filming. Robbie's famous for his love of a good pub, so there's no better guide to show me around some of his local haunts. We're up in Yorkshire, north-east a bit from Manchester. Our first pub is in Sorby Bridge, a market town in the upper Calder Valley, where the Rochdale Canal meets the Calder and Hebble navigation. Just a few yards away from that junction lies the appropriately named Navigation Inn. It's a Grade II listed building which dates back to the 15th century, having had various uses through the years.
There was a mill here up until about 1000 AD, and then it was turned into a private residence, and then it was changed into the Navigation Public House around 1780, because that's when they opened the canal, and it's been a public house ever since.
At the time of filming, some COVID restrictions were still in force, so, looking like bandits, we entered the bar and Robbie pondered his choice of ale.
Yeah, we'll have a Yorkshire Blonde, that sounds alright, doesn't it?
And as the landlady pulled the pint, I looked around the pub. Not too busy at this time of day. We were told they have a duck who visits regularly, waddling across the floor for a feed, but sadly no sign of it today.
You couldn't ask for a better place to live, could you really? It's right side of the canal and it's just a great little place. Even strangers sit with people and stuff, and everyone ends up being quite happy and chatty and relaxed.
This was very evident in the sunshine outside, where regulars sat and sipped and chatted, the football evidently being on their minds, although let's not dwell on the end result there. Plenty of space for outdoor drinking and dining, and not a duck, but dogs welcome too. Inside, the pub is decorated with canal-themed art on the walls and other artworks on the window shelves. Inevitably, Robbie had already made a friend, another boater who was moored nearby, so we all sat for a while and had a chat about the meaning of life.
Oh, right.
While Robbie was on the beers, I, driving, stuck to non-alcoholic beverages. The drinks swiftly downed, it was time to move on to another hostelry. So Robbie joined me in the van and we set off, heading west and talking pubs.
I've definitely moored outside it.
Oh, right. En route, as it was just down the road, we made a brief stop at the deepest lock on the British Canal system, Tewell Lane Lock. Once two separate locks, but rebuilt as one in 1996 when the canal was restored. That's a drop of just under 20 feet. For size comparison, there's Robbie, and there's the lower level of the canal. Time to move on, and we aimed for the highest point on the Rochdale Canal, the Summit Pound. Right next to the lock at one end is the Summit Inn. Tranquil canal behind, but a busy road in front. The pub was built 200 years ago and is now a popular destination for boaters, walkers, joggers, hikers, tourists and us. Inside, it's traditional pub fare, with a bar selling an array of ales, soft drinks and snacks, as well as a full menu if you fancy a meal. And yes, there's a resident dog. In fact, dogs are even catered for with their own cask outside. A couple of years ago, the pub organised a celebration of boats and the canal, as the landlady explained.
The decision was made to get as many canal boaters from Manchester and the other way and bring them all to finish here. The Canal River Trust, they worked so hard to make sure it happened, and eventually we got the boats up and they were all dancing on the boats. We had singers going up and down, there were clog dancers, we had Oaken Hoof here with the swords, and it was just, and everybody had flowers in their hair. It was just a marvellous, marvellous day.
In the garden, Robbie told me about his favourite pub of all time.
If there was one I could return to, because I've not been there for quite a few years now, it would be the Barge Inn at Honey Street, which is in a little village called Pewsey, which is on the Kennet and Avon Canal. And I went there in my first year of boating and had a fantastic time, moored up right outside. There's a pool table inside, local pub, there's a campsite next door, and it just seems like loads going on, a real friendly pub. And there's some quite crazy artwork going on inside on the ceiling, something to do with crop circles, because that's the part of the country that it was in.
Robbie's just started filming the next series of Canal Boat Diaries, so he's not just well known on YouTube, but a TV celebrity as well.
It feels still very, very strange. I haven't got used to it, because I think about it, I think, well, I'm doing a show, it's on TV that people are actually going to watch, or some people have been watching. And yeah, I just feel very fortunate because, I've almost feel like a bit of a fraud because I never grew up on a boat. And, you know, I don't come from a family of boaters. It's something that I just literally fell in love with, and still do to this day and carry on.
Nowadays, you can barely walk along the canal without tripping over a narrowboater who makes videos for YouTube, as I proved when I took a quick stroll along the Rochdale between pubs. Quite at random, I bumped into the Vlog from the Frog, who have a narrowboat called Frog in a Bucket. They have some lovely footage of the Rochdale Canal on their channel, which I've left a link to in the video description below. For a little used canal, it was rather busy, a hire boat immediately coming the other way to use the lock just left behind by the frogs. This was a rather pleasant stroll, and I posted some snaps to my Instagram feed. There's a link to that in the description too. By now, Robbie and I had worked up an appetite. So at our third and final pub, we were pleased to see this sign. This is the Stubbing Wharf, half a mile from Hebden Bridge and built in the late 18th century to feed and water people both on the canal and the turnpike road from Halifax to Todmorden. It's the pub about which the poet Ted Hughes wrote the ode Stubbing Wharf. Apparently, the tenancy agreement in 1918 bound the landlord into not allowing any thieves or rogues to gather in or around the hotel. Notwithstanding that, Robbie and I were allowed in. As well as the bar, there's a large dining room, which opens out directly onto the canal towpath. There's the back of the inn. There's the canal. We ordered food and drinks, and a kindly chap vacated his spot outside so we could sit and enjoy the canal-side atmos. I had a chicken, bacon and cheese sandwich with chips. Robbie had something with tuna, I think. The landlady kept Robbie topped up with booze and told us what she thinks makes a great pub.
Good traditional pub food, good selection of ales, because everyone loves a good selection of ales. You need to be accepting of muddy boots and muddy paw prints as well. And yeah, good service, friendly service, keep people going, keep people smiling. That makes good pub for me. A lot of our customers, boaters that pass every day, whether it be people on the Shire cruise boats that are on a stag do all dressed as pirates, or whether it's the people that are moored up here constantly. Like I say, they're part of the family because they're here every day. It's almost like a community here for the boaters. You know, sometimes they'll want to use our water, or they'll need to plug the phone in to charge the phones. So they're a big part of the history of the pub as well.
At the table, Robbie was betraying his hardcore ale-loving image.
It's craft beer. It's real lager.
Real craft Fosters, isn't it?
This is a really beautiful part of the world, and I'd had a fantastic time visiting the pubs with the pub guru himself. But the trip had to come to an end, and I asked Robbie how filming with me, waving a handycam around, compared to doing his big-budget BBC series.
All of that pales in comparison to the work that I have finally been able to do with you, David.
Stop it.
We've been planning to do videos for forever and never got round to it.
Yes,
So
at last.
this is it. This is it for me. Doesn't get any better.